Welcome to a very special edition of Can You Beat, the series where Jared tries to beat Fallout 4 in a very specific way. Actually, fun side note here, all of this is actually or is being captured on the Xbox Series S through the capture system. Basically, anytime I had a very specific spot in the series that I wanted to record, I ended up just throwing on and using the record edition there instead of capturing all my moments and recording hours upon hours, because this playthrough actually took me 12 hours to run through here. So as you can see, everything looks actually pretty goddamn gorgeous. It looks really, really well for the Xbox Series S. Of course, I got a couple of mods on here. And I'm trying to beat this as Hawkeye. After what ended up happening, I've always wanted to do this series where I beat the game as Hawkeye. I stuck with a couple of basics. I can only wear chest armor, arm armor, and then I did throw on a helmet later on because, I mean, technically he does wear glasses and like headgear and stuff like that. And with using the bow and arrow, I decided to use the VATS system a lot here because Hawkeye was always very, very accurate. He always had the ability to basically hit. Dude, like, never missed whatsoever. Canonically, he did use a gun as well as he did use like a baton kind of striking thing, if you will, in the Disney Marvel-ish series. But I decided to kind of go against the grain with that. One thing I did note here is that I had dog meat as a husky. I realized that when dog meat and I go into combat, sometimes dog meat will go invisible. I don't know how he has stealth boy capabilities, but apparently he does for just a brief moment as a husky. I don't know why that was, but I thought that was interesting. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that with the Xbox Series S, I ran into a lot. Let me say this again. I ran into a lot of glitches of basically. I'm pretty sure that I could have beat this in, I want to say, maybe 9 hours or 10 hours, but I ended up having a couple extra hours of fiddling around with all the stuff, making sure everything worked okay, and basically adjusting and updating everything that was out there. I did run a couple of side missions. This one is the Covenant mission, where basically, if you've never been to the Covenant, they are like an offset group where basically they feed people to Dr. Chambers here, where she basically, Dr. Chambers basically says, oh, hey, I'm going to continue to experiment on these people. And I ended up having to kill them after Clint was like, yeah, hey, I don't really give a shit if I can or can't kill people. Or no, what was it? I always have a conscience because Clint was like, oh, if or Dr. Chambers was like, if you pay me, I won't, I won't kill anybody. But no, I ended up running through and smoke checking like legitimately everyone here. I, for a brief moment, actually thought that I was going to use the armor that you can have, because I know this is the Covenant armor that these folks wear. But I was thinking of using the Covenant armor and actually making some adjustments to the Covenant armor and wearing that instead of the Akiro vest that I ended up having. I'll do a little screen. I'll do a little screen right about. I won't. Well, not really a screen, but I'll throw on all the things that I had for you guys here, and maybe, I don't know, probably a minute. But yeah, I ended up slaughtering and killing a bunch of folks here and deciding that, as I was going to walk through, I'm just going to kill and smoke check everybody because they experiment on synths and people, which in my eyes is not really cool. Some of the slow motion kills with the bow and arrow were actually pretty damn cool out there. Once I finally disposed of them, I headed on over to Kellogg, where I actually died for the first time. I actually realized partway through the series that I was playing on very easy. I don't know why I was, but like I was killing people in one or two blows, which was kind of ridiculous. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up making an adjustment, put the game back on very hard. Now, mind you, I'm using a controller on this. I don't do controllers. I'm a very mouse and keyboard heavy individual, and I decided that I was gonna not do that. I've got a incendiary arrow here. And as you can see, it's going to backfire on me here in a minute. I'm going to tell him that I'm going to make you suffer. And then I hit him. And what I don't realize is this next shot here actually lands a little too close. I catch on fire. One thing I noticed is that even if you're on fire and you jump into water, you don't do so well. And as I'm trying to use the controller to stim pack and stim pack and stim pack, it didn't work out too well. But that was my first mistake. I ended up killing him no problem. Ended up running on out to the Institute, where I found my son is now my father. And if you notice that the text colors keep changing, I did that on purpose, just because I just kept having to change them because I wanted to. I ended up talking to Father, and I thought, what is the best way to run through this series, right? Now, Hawkeye is on the side of Tony Stark. Hawkeye goes with Stark and everybody, and he's always the fancy, the money bags, and he's all the toys and stuff like that. And so I decided that I was gonna, for the first time in a long time, I was actually gonna follow the Institute. And I was like, all right, well, I'll follow you with the Institute and see what we got going on there. And that's how I decided to play through the playthrough. I stuck canonically to the armor, to the weaponry, as well as I actually just straight used the bow and arrow. I didn't actually use any other weapons throughout the entire series. I did use a lot of VATs. I'll put it to you that way. I did use a lot of VATs. And this is one of the cool arrows that I found. This was the high explosive arrow that I ended up being able to craft a couple of here. And whoops, there we go. And this is just a cool shot where I'm just gonna explode somebody with the explosive arrow. The other cool thing was that if you craft enough of the explosive, like you can walk up to people and like re-grab the explosive arrows and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Ended up coming out to the part where I got to reclaim the synth. Ended up killing the wrong art, actually. I killed the person art, even though he took an arrow to the face there. And then this was just kind of interesting. Because I go to his body and I'm like, oh, you don't have the synth component. And I was like, well, sorry, Art, but you gotta die. Valentine didn't like it too much. I'm pretty sure he didn't like it. But oh yeah, Valentine disliked it, but I killed the wrong Art. I know it's dumb because I'm with the Institute, but like I had to do it. I had to do it. And then I ran into this dude. So this was the dumbest part of the series. I kept either hitting the elevator, or I actually ended up. I hit the elevator. I think my arrow got shot out of the sky once or twice, and then I just this part legitimately took me like 30 minutes. I listened to Behind the Bastards, which was a really cool episode. Then something interesting happened. I remember that I have to fight a sentry bot and then 2 assaultrons here. So what I did was, because I'm part of the Institute, I just threw a bunch of synth relay grenades, put all my synths out there, walked out here, and then all of a sudden, the sentry bot comes out, and then I hid like a baby back bitch in here because look, I'm not gonna lie, this was one of the legitimate harder playthroughs that I've ever had to, because the good equipment that I could use was not the good equipment. Like, the incendiary and the explosive ammo was great, but a lot of times I'd be super, super close to somebody and it wouldn't work out. Like, I died a lot to myself, to be completely honest with you. I died a lot to myself. And then what I ended up doing was I ended up giving the next speech here, which, you know what, I'm gonna edit the speech. So here you go.
That we are among you. It is true. But it is not the whole truth. We're here. And we are here to help. Our superior technology represents the future of the Commonwealth. Today, we activate our nuclear reactor, ensuring that we will persevere long after the world above ground ceases to exist. Ensuring that mankind has a future. We have no desire to interfere in the unimportant details of your daily lives. We simply insist that you do not interfere with Institute operations. To do so would result in unnecessary difficulties for all parties. Rest easy. Know that the future is looking bright, and that mankind will thrive under our guidance.
And now that we gave the speech here, they said that I have to, Father asked me if I would kill Desdemona. I had my 3 nuclear arrows that I had, and Desdemona ended up dying along with a bunch of other folks. And then it was weird because it's like, oh yeah, you got to go back and eliminate all the railroad leaders. So I just busted out the incendiary and killed everybody. And then I had to go kill the Brotherhood of Steel. Didn't even talk to Dance, actually, believe it or not. Ended up smoke checking him with a couple of bow and arrows. And as you can see here, like, I am down to my last 5 explosive arrows, as well as a couple. Told me to get away, get out. And then I got relayed to where I ended up blowing everything up. And I gotta say, I don't know if these are the next gen enhancements that I downloaded, or if this is the next gen update that I got with Fallout 4. And all I gotta say, overall, wasn't that bad of a fight. It took a little bit. It was a little extra hard out there, um, because of the playstyle that I had. But to be completely honest with you, it wasn't too bad after all. It was fucking difficult. Just straight to the point. It was difficult as shit. But yeah, I was able to beat Fallout 4 on the Xbox Series S with a controller. And this is, I forgot that this scene was in here. I remember that I had recorded this. This was early on. I remember that I think this is like right outside after you kill Wolfgang or whatever his nuts is for yelling at what's her name because her son's a junkie. But if you stay hidden well enough, there is a raider out here who is mourning his loss. Kind of spoke volumes. I didn't feel like killing him, so I just kind of let him alone. But yeah, that was me doing Fallout 4 as Hawkeye the Archer. I hope Hawkeye is going to be good, and I hope he makes a comeback later on. Thanks for watching Parrot Gaming Productions, where my name is Jared. I'm going to maybe try to bring back the Can You Beat series, and we will see where things go here in the future for Parrot Gaming Productions now that Jared is actually single, and he's working through some stuff. So, enjoy! I love your faces, everybody, and I'll see you on the next episode.